You meet her at a charity gala on a Friday night in November. She's standing near the back of the room, away from the noise, holding a glass of wine she hasn't touched. Everyone else is performing, networking too hard, pretending the canapés are interesting. She's just standing there, watching the room like she's already memorized everyone in it. You walk over, because something pulls you. You don't know what. You'll spend the next 2 years trying to figure that out. Her name is Eve. She says she's a dance instructor. She has the posture of someone who was trained to never show pain, and the eyes of someone who has felt a great deal of it. She doesn't laugh at your jokes. She smiles at them, a small, precise smile, like she's deciding whether you've earned a full one. You go on 3 dates, then 12, then you stop counting. 6 months later, you propose. She says yes, without hesitating. Not out of excitement, out of certainty. Like she already knew this was coming, and had already decided the answer. You think that's romantic. You have absolutely no idea what she actually is. The first year of marriage is the closest thing to perfect you've ever experienced. She wakes up before you every single morning. You never hear an alarm. She's just awake, already moving, already present. She makes coffee exactly how you like it. You never told her how you like it. She learned by watching. She is attentive in a way that feels almost supernatural. She remembers details you mentioned once, casually, weeks ago. She notices when your mood shifts. Before you do. She asks the right questions. She listens the way people in movies listen, completely still, completely focused, like your words are the only thing happening in the world. Your friends are jealous. Your mother adores her. Your therapist says you've never seemed more settled. But there are things you file under quirky, because you love her, and love makes you generous with explanations. She never fully sleeps. You wake up at 2 a.m. sometimes, and she's lying there, eyes open, staring at the ceiling, perfectly still. When you ask if she's okay, she says she's just thinking. Her breathing doesn't change when she says it. She keeps her phone in a separate room at night. Not on silent, in a completely different room. When you ask about it, she says she doesn't like the radiation near her head while she sleeps. Reasonable, sure. She has a bag in the back of the wardrobe that you have never seen her open. Military green, heavy. Heavy enough that when you accidentally knocked it off the shelf once, it hit the floor like it was filled with something serious. When you asked what was in it, she looked at you for exactly 1 second too long. Before saying, gym equipment. You let it go. Because what kind of person interrogates their wife about a gym bag? The shift happens on a Tuesday, 14 months in. You come home early from work, cancelled meeting, lucky break, and the apartment feels different. Not wrong, exactly. Different. Like the air has been. Recently rearranged. Eve isn't home. That's not unusual. But something on the kitchen counter stops you cold. Her laptop is open. She never leaves it open. You're not a snoop. You have never been that person. But your eyes move before your brain approves the decision. And what you see on the screen doesn't make sense. It's a document. Clean. Formatted. Clinical. At the top, a name. Your name. Beneath it, a photograph. Of you? Taken from across the street, from above, through what looks like a telephoto lens. You're outside your office building. You don't remember that day, but from the coat you're wearing, it was about 8 months ago. You were already engaged to her. Below the photograph, your daily schedule. Your routes to work, your gym times, the coffee shop you visit every Thursday. Your mother's address. Your office building's security rotation. Your hands are shaking so badly, you have to grip the counter to stay upright. There's a section at the bottom of the document, under a heading that reads, Assessment. You read it once, then you read it again, because your brain refuses to process it the first time. Target, civilian. No tactical training. No protective detail. Emotional attachment, high. Estimated vulnerability window, optimal. Recommended method, staged accident, natural causes, or prolonged illness protocol. Timeline, flexible. You are the target. Your wife has a document describing the best way to kill you. You close the laptop. You walk to the bedroom. You sit on the edge of the bed and stare at the floor for 20 minutes. Every rational explanation collapses. The moment you construct it, maybe it's for a novel. She's never mentioned writing. Maybe it's work research. She teaches ballet to 8-year-olds on Thursday afternoons. Maybe you're misreading it. You reread it in your head, word by word. You are not misreading it. The bag in the wardrobe is suddenly the most important object in your life. You pull it down, the zipper is stiff, like it hasn't been opened in a while. Inside, a disassembled handgun with components you don't recognize. 3 different passports, none with her real name. A small glass vial of something clear. Documents in a language you don't speak, but recognize as Russian. And at the very bottom, wrapped in black cloth, a knife so perfectly balanced that even holding it feels like a statement. Your wife is not a dance instructor. You have been living with someone, sleeping next to someone, building a life with someone, and you have no idea who she actually is. Here's what you don't know yet, because here's the part that changes everything. Eve Macarro was sent to your city 18 months ago with a single assignment. You witnessed something 2 years prior, a meeting, a handoff, faces you weren't supposed to see outside a bar downtown after your friend's birthday. You were too drunk to register what you'd seen. By morning, you'd completely forgotten it. But the people you saw didn't forget you. Your face appeared in the wrong database. You were flagged. And an organization that doesn't take chances sent one of their best to assess the threat and eliminate it. Eve was the cleaner. You were the job. But somewhere between surveillance and assessment, something went wrong on her end. She's brilliant and trained and precise. But she's also underneath all of it someone who was shaped by grief and violence from childhood. Someone who has spent her entire life perfecting the performance of humanity without ever being allowed to actually live it. And then she met you. Clumsy, earnest, terrible joke-telling, genuinely kind, you. And something cracked. She filed a report. Target clean, no intelligence value. Recommend surveillance termination. She thought that would be the end of it. She thought wrong. You don't confront her when she gets home. You put the bag back. You close the laptop. You go through the motions of the evening dinner, conversation, television, with your heart hammering so loudly, you're certain she can hear it. But Eve doesn't miss things like that. She looks at you over dinner with those precise eyes and says, quietly, "You look pale. Did something happen at work?" You say no. Everything's fine. She watches you for 2 seconds. Then she nods and looks back at her plate. That night, you pretend to sleep. At 1 a.m., you hear her on the phone in the kitchen, speaking in a low, clipped voice, in a language you don't speak. The call lasts 4 minutes. When she comes back to bed, she lies down and doesn't move. The next morning, you call in sick and go to a lawyer. 2 days later, you're sitting across from a man in an unmarked office who listens to your entire story without writing a single note. He already knows who Eve is. He tells you the name, the real name, the organization behind the name. He explains what a Kikimora is, an assassin trained from childhood, ballet and brutality fused into a single discipline, sent to protect or to destroy, depending on who's giving the orders. He explains that Eve was originally sent to eliminate you. He explains that she didn't. He explains that the people who sent her have now noticed she didn't, and have sent a second team to finish both jobs. Both of you are now targets. He slides a phone across the desk. She's been trying to reach you for 6 hours. I'd answer it. You call her back standing on a pavement outside a building you've never been to before. She picks up before the first ring finishes. "Where are you?" Her voice is controlled, but underneath it, something is fractured. You tell her. She's quiet for 3 seconds, which you've learned in 2 years. Is Eve experiencing something she wasn't prepared for? They've sent cleaners. For both of us. You need to listen to me very carefully. You were sent to kill me, you say. It comes out, steadier than you expected. A longer silence this time. Yes. And you didn't. No. Why not? The silence that follows that question is the longest of your entire marriage, because killing you would have been the easiest thing I've done in 10 years. And I couldn't make myself do it. I've been trying to figure out why for 14 months. You stand on that pavement in the cold, and you realize, with complete clarity, that your wife, whoever she actually is, whatever she's actually done, just told you the most honest thing she's ever said. What do we do? You ask. We run, she says. And you trust me. For approximately the next 4 hours. You trust me completely, and you do exactly what I say. After that, I will answer every single question you have. You survive the next 4 hours. She doesn't tell you everything that happens, and later, you're grateful for that. What you know is this. She moves through danger the way water moves through rock, not by force, but by finding every crack. She uses a fire exit, a stolen taxi, a kitchen in an empty restaurant. She keeps you behind her the entire time. Every decision she makes is about getting you out first. She takes a cut across her forearm from broken glass that she doesn't mention until it's over. When you finally find it, she's already wrapping it herself, precise and calm. The way someone wraps a wound when they've been wrapping their own wounds for a very long time. She sits across from you and says, ask. You ask everything. She answers everything. No performance, no deflection. Just the raw, ugly, complicated truth she uses for everything else. Except her hands aren't quite still. When she finishes, the room is very quiet. You look at the woman you married, the dance instructor who isn't, the wife with 3 passports, the assassin who chose not to. Did you ever actually love me, you ask? Or was that part of the cover? She looks at you like the question physically hurts her. I don't know how to love someone, she says finally. I was never taught that. I was taught to observe, to assess, to maintain cover. But somewhere in the middle of observing you, I stopped observing and started just, she stops. Being there. I don't have a clean word for it. You sit with that for a long time. That might be the most human thing you've ever said to me. For the first time in 2 years of marriage, Eve Macarro looks like she doesn't know what her face is supposed to do next. And you realize that expression, unguarded, unscripted, slightly lost. That's the real one. She's never shown anyone. You don't go to the police. You don't go home. You don't pretend the last 14 months were simple, or clean, or what you thought they were. Maybe that makes you foolish. Maybe it makes you exactly the kind of person she knew you were when she decided 14 months ago that she couldn't go through with it. Some people are selected because they're isolated, because they're lonely, because they're easy. She selected you for those reasons too. She just didn't account for the possibility that easy to kill and easy to love are sometimes terrifyingly exactly the same thing. Somewhere out there, her former organization is recalibrating. The contract is still open. The cleaners will regroup. And Eve Macarro Kikimora, trained ghost. The thing nightmares are made of is sitting across from you in a safe house, letting you see her real face for the first time. You have no plan, no weapon, no idea what comes next. And somehow, that's the most honest place you've ever been, together. And that's the story. If you made it here, honestly, respect. More legends coming soon. And hey, drop it down in the comments. Who should we marry next?